Ben Gamla during Bayis Sheni. And even then, it was certainly not what we have today. So the downside of anything like that is when you try to make everybody fit through this proverbial box is question, well, is the box really fitting for everybody? And therefore, is it appropriate for us to try to do exactly the same for everybody? Or do we need to reconceive what's in the best interests of individual students so that they can have a maximal experience? And I'll take the point in just a second. Think about the pasuk for a moment. The only pasuk that I'm aware of in the entire Tanakh that deals with chinuch, which is, of course, the Mishlei Chanoch L'Nar Al Pi Darko. Now, it doesn't say Chanoch L'Nar Al Pi Darko so that he can become a Talmid Chacham. It doesn't say Chanoch L'Nar Al Pi Darko so that he can say a great pshat or a great drasha. That might be true, but the pasuk says Lo Gam Ki Yazkin Lo Yasur Mimenu, so that when he becomes older, he doesn't deviate. Now, of course, we can interpret that perhaps in slightly different ways. And if you look at the Mefarshim, the Malbim, the Radak, the Ralbag, if you look at them, they talk about multiple differentiation and modalities, not in those terms, of course, but they speak to the issue of meeting the needs of individual students, not only based on capacity, but we'll see a quote from Rav Hirsch in a little bit, based on interest, based on what drives them, based on what gets them excited and passionate. Gam ki yaskin lo yasur mimenu. Because the end game in all of this is that they're committed, right? A number of years ago, I remember that there was an article, I don't know if it was in the Jewish Observer or some other related publication. There's been a lot of talk, as we know, about kids at risk. And a lot of the kids at risk phenomenon, unfortunately, relates to abuse. But a lot of it relates to our conversation, which is what happens with them in the hallowed halls of our chadarim and our Beis Yaakovs and our day schools and all of the educational contexts, right? Are they in the box, or do they see themselves out of the box? I remember Dr. Scott Goldberg, who was over at YU and Israeli and other areas within the university, came to Chicago when I was coordinating programming for Priority One, which is an organization that deals with what we call the at-risk issue. And by the way, we often use the wrong terminology, because at-risk is defined as children who are potentially have those indicators that they may go off of the pathway. And really, most of the kids we're dealing with are thinking about are the in-risk kids. The kids who've already chosen, have already moved into those dangerous behaviors and whatnot. Anyway, he said at the time that the number one indicator in the research he was involved with that would ultimately result in at-risk behavior was struggles with Hebrew decoding. Now, we've learned since then that abuse is a major factor as well. There's no question about it. If Judaism hurts me, or somebody associated with Judaism hurts me, then Judaism has to go. That's sort of a decision many children make because they throw out the proverbial baby with the bathwater. Not our conversation. But if you have a child who understands that his way by which, and I think I still owe you an opportunity to say something, my apologies, but I'm still on that soapbox of mine. But if we have a child who understands that his only way by which to achieve success is through a very narrow definition of textual capacity, and he has banged his head against the wall numerous times and has not felt good about that experience, it's not surprising that some children opt out because they don't feel that that's the place where they can gain, recognition, acceptance, feel valued. They're always kind of like perpetually destined to remain here in the proverbial spectrum of their class. Yes?